Oh, hi there. Name's Larry Scooter Punch. Nice to meet you. Were you interested in the fastest scooter known to man? Ah!
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So first, let me just say I'm not a scooter expert. I'm just a guy who loves to ride them. I first bought my Segway Ninebot Max like 3 years ago, and I've been having fun ever since, and then companies started to reach out to me, and Hiboy has been my favorite. They sent me their S2 Max, and that has been like so much better than the Segway that I prefer that. So I've been riding that for over a year, and now they have one with shocks, dual shocks, and it goes faster. The funny thing is, I was just thinking the other day, I'm riding the S2 Max, and I'm thinking, I wouldn't mind a little more speed on this thing. It goes 31 kilometers an hour. I'm like, I could use a bit. And then literally like a couple days later, Hiboy reaches out and they're like, we have this new scooter, bro. It goes faster. You want to try it? I'm like, yes. So like it is so noticeably faster. It goes 35 kilometers an hour. I have no idea what the miles mean. There's your math. United States Yankees. So I've been riding this thing for about 3 weeks, trying to find all its flaws. Hey, little buddy, you back for more macadamia nuts? Apparently, macadamia nuts are poison to dogs. So feed a squirrel, kill a dog. Not exactly what I was going for, but hopefully you just eat them all. There you go. Don't leave any for the dogs. I know they chase you and you want to hurt them. Is he in the shot? Probably not. So here are the pros and cons of this scooter. Immediately you will notice the shocks. Fantastic. It's got the dual shocks in the front. Initially out of the box, they were kind of bottoming out a bit. And then I learned that you can tighten them. And even with the bottoming out, it was like noticeably better. But now you can perfect them. Just a couple little twists. And the rear is like this dual thing. Not sure how that works, but it does something. I've never seen that design before. It doesn't do a lot, but it's decent. We now have dual brakes. Every scooter I've ever tried has been one brake. Now it's dual. That's nice. When you're going 35 freaking kilometers an hour, you need the dual. You done those already, buddy? Here you go. Yeah, go for it. Just don't leave any for the dogs. Remember that. There's one, you missed it. That's a dead dog right there. Now what's the difference between 31 and 35 kilometers an hour? Where I notice it, it's just so fun to be going 35 on a straight, but where I really notice it is when I have to make a turn, and then I'm like, oh wow, I'm going fast. So like you really have to slow down and be careful, because I was a bike courier. I developed this sixth sense for like danger. I know when a car is about to turn. I know if your signal is not turning right. I think you're gonna turn right though, even though you don't know how signals work. So like be very careful. Don't just ride 35. Like look into car door mirrors to see if there's a guy sitting there. Is he about to open the door? Like be careful. Don't just ride this thing in traffic at 35 all the time thinking, I'm so fast. But it's really fun on the nature trails. You're just speeding. Like the funny thing is, I get to my mom's place in 19 minutes on my old scooter, the S2 Max, at 31 kilometers an hour. In this one, I got there in 18. I was thinking I would have shaved a couple minutes off. I don't know what happened. I got to retime that one. That's a race I'm not going to lose again. Okay, this is my first attempt at actually lifting this thing. Okay, let's see it. Okay. That's not too bad. It's heavy, but it's doable. Somewhat. Oh, yeah, that was my spine. I notice it takes a little while to get to 35 kilometers an hour. I don't know, like maybe 5 or 6 seconds or something. It's not the same type of oomph that the S2 Max seemed to have. So it's just takes a little time. And I've noticed that it doesn't climb hills quite as well as the S2 Max. I don't know, it just doesn't seem to have the torque. I've just noticed it going up really steep hills. I barely made it up the other day. I don't know if it's due to the cold weather. It could be that. These things seem to falter in the cold. Now, on paper, this thing will go 75 kilometers per battery charge, whereas the S2 Max did 65. I will say this, it's cold here. It's Canada. You're not going to get that. There's wind. There's all kinds of things working against you getting that time. I went really far. I forget. I wrote down how far I went, and there was like 1 bar left. And I was like, I might not make it home. I did make it. And then when I got home, like we're talking, I thought it might die before I get there. I plug it in, and then it says like 58% left. I'm like, well, what was it? Like, I felt like it was gonna die very soon. So I would love to see a percentage of battery instead of these bars. But I feel like just because it was cold, it had 1 bar, and then in my apartment, as it warmed up, it's like, oh, it's not so bad. Well, probably, yeah, 58%, no problem. I would also love to see an odometer on here, just to know how far. Like, I used to ride a bike, and I would buy the odometers, and I would see like, oh, that trip, that was about 6-kilometer trip there. Cool. And how far have I ridden it total? Oh, wow, like 100 kilometers. Wow, look at that. So it's like, that's really fun information to have. Whereas this doesn't have it. I'm sure you can get it from the app. Hey, little buddy, how many dogs have you killed? Have you killed several dogs? Oh, you found that. He did. Oh, he doesn't want to kill the dogs. That's nice of you. So I'm not going to connect to your app that's tracking my whole life. That's not an option. Who wants to do that and have Bluetooth connection? Just a side rant. I've heard many people that use their app and you can lock it electronically so no one can steal it. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work again, and then you're the one locked out of your own scooter. I saw a bunch of reviews and some guy was like, the thing won't connect on the Bluetooth now. I had to carry it home on my back. And this thing is heavy as heck. And here you go. Don't kill dogs. So these are just wish list things that I think would be really nice to have. An odometer, the current ride, and total. I'm not going to connect the app. Like, come on now. But the smoothness of the ride is unparalleled. I'm sure there's better shocks out there. I've seen the rear have the springs and stuff. I'm not sure how this one even works, but it tilts somewhat. You can see the tilting action. It does something. Not a lot, but it does something. But like the tires are bigger and fatter than the S2 Max, so that alone without the shocks would make quite the difference. It's just such a pleasure. Hiboy. And I noticed they changed their logo. It used to be all capital letters with like the orange, whereas now it's all small letters with the white. It looks better like this. It's more dignified. I like it. I'm not a huge fan of having these logos on the side. They're huge, but whatever. I understand you want people to know you're on a Hiboy. When you're riding by, it's like free advertisement, but it's like a billboard. Now, I remember complaining about the bell on the S2 Max because I was used to the Ninebot. It's a twisty thing, but now I prefer this. It's just a little finger right there. It's actually quite easy. I prefer this now. So nice bell, nice brakes. You stop pretty darn quick. I was going really fast there in the intro, and it's like, it can stop quicker than that. I didn't want to skid the tires though. That might happen. Here I'm trying to show you what the old S2 Max width is compared to this, but it's not really showing up on camera like I thought it would. But this new board is like so much wider. It's nice and comfy, and those foam, it's like a rubbery soft material. I like the look of it and the feel of it and the wideness. You could stand straight on if you want. But as far as complaints, I've mentioned the downsides, and the only other one is they still have the same system where the latch, it's a little awkward to pull out because you have to pull up and then out, and then also the attachment thing is you have to lift this up first and then see, is that getting in? And then, okay, I don't carry it like this ever, although you could. Why bother? So I just prefer carrying it like this. You know what I mean? You pray to God that your back holds up. and then you leave. Hey, little buddy. Hey, little buddy. Ah. So I think Hiboy is like the Ulanzi of the camera world, where they make really high-end stuff that's still budget. It costs less, but it works good. It works good all the time. I don't have much negative to say about it. The only real annoyance is pumping up the tires. They still haven't perfected just sticking that nozzle out so it's easy to screw on your bicycle pump. I'm still finding it quite hard to screw on fully, and it's quite annoying. I wish our technology had advanced further where I don't have to screw on this metal thing and wait for air release. Like, it should just be an easy clamp. It's a fantastic scooter. It's my scooter now that I use all the time, because how do you go back to 31 kilometers an hour when you don't have to? So it's like, well done, Hiboy. You've done well. Please improve the things that I mentioned. The button's even better now. They did improve that. The S2 Max button was like, you didn't even know if you're pressing it, whereas now, very easy press. Bright display. Cruise control. What else could you want? That's good times. All right, I'm going to leave. There will be affiliate links down below if I can find them on Amazon. If not, then it's just a link to their shop. Hiboy does good stuff. So thank you, Hiboy, for sending it to me. They did send it to me. Did I mention that? I get to keep it, and that's fantastic, and I love them for that. But like, I've been sent scooters that sucked, and I told you about it. So it's like, I'm not paid off here. I'm just giving my honest review. There's not many flaws. It's pretty good. So thank you so much for watching and subscribing for more videos. And I'm saying that. Yes, our 4K crop isn't so bad that I have to actually ride a scooter to get to the camera. That's ridiculous. You're making up theories.